Hello, we're back with Wine and Wed Talk that no one asked for. Now, like, I'm going out tonight. One of my best mates is taking me out for my birthday. No, it's not my birthday. My birthday is in July, and he missed last year's and the year before, I think. So I think this is meant to be like my birthday present from my 30th, which was 2 years ago. But anyway, I'm just really over staring at the computer. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start early. It's Friday, and my content guy was like, I need another video. And I was like, well, perfect. I've got a wine. So let's do a chat. Let's do a chit chat. And what we're going to do today, because I thought the chat GPT thing was so fun. So I'm on Reddit. I'm obsessed. I'm so behind the times, I know. But I'm obsessed with Reddit lately. And so I thought I'm going to save my own like wedding stories for some other pieces that we've got coming. But I thought let's just type in wedding horror stories on Reddit, and surely can make me feel a little bit better about the clients that we have, because we don't really get many like crazy horror stories. One, because we're so good at what we do and we eliminate anything nuts from happening. But two, we don't live in America. So I'm so sorry, but Americans, man, you wild. Guys, like, you are crazy. I know Australians are not like, we're not Canadians. Like, let's be honest. You guys are just on a whole other unicorn planet of being Jesus or something. But I feel like this video is going to get me cancelled. But yeah, we like some of this stuff. Anyway, let's just, I need another sip, and then let's get into it. So basically that's all I've done. I've just typed in wedding horror stories. But there's some questions here like, what was the wildest thing you've ever witnessed at a wedding? Did you ever attend a wedding that was a complete disaster? Tell us what happened. What's the worst thing you've ever witnessed? So let's just see. I'm not going to read screen names or anything like that. Basically, if you want to go onto Reddit, but I'm just going to read some and give you my reaction. Again, no one asked for this, but it's Friday, and it's just something I feel like doing. So I once witnessed a child pushing the four-tier cake off the table and it just going everywhere. Bride and groom were pretty mad. Not super scandalous, but it was just a crazy thing that I've witnessed. Controversial opinion. This is why kids don't belong at weddings. I'm actually not sorry. I was going to say I'm so sorry, but no, I'm actually not. I'm of the firm belief that children do not belong at the reception. Anyway, children, ceremony, flower girl, page boy, very cute, particularly if it's your child. Like, I've had plenty of couples where it is their kid and they want them to be a part of that and they want them to be a part of the photos, and that is so fair. But then I have had one or two couples that have been the smartest people in the world, and I've loved them for it. They've then hired a babysitter or a wedding nanny. That's a real thing, by the way. And the kid has then been taken away after photos, and then the couple can enjoy themselves knowing that their child is safe with the babysitter, asleep at home, no children to knock your four-tier cake over. Which, four-tier cake, depending on whether it was fondant or buttercream, that's not cheap. Either way. Wasn't really wild, but I went to a wedding that took place on the grass next to a Walmart. See? Americans, man, you wild. The people getting married were older, like 50s or 60s, met working at Walmart and thought Walmart was just the best, so they got married at Walmart. And by went outside on my break, got a piece of cake from my co-worker's wedding reception, which we were all invited to. I think the wildest part about it was that the trashy comments by customers saying, why would you get married at Walmart? I mean, These two people worked at Walmart. They had no money. They were both older. They had no parents helping pay for anything. Venue was free. Cake and drinks provided by the store manager. DJ, a kid in electronics department who really wanted to be a DJ. And the list goes on. I guess if you're poor, you're not allowed any moments of happiness in this life. You only get to suffer and serve. Why the fuck are they out there getting married instead of being in here serving us? Oh, okay, that actually ended quite sad. I actually like this for the love story that they did something meaningful for them. Like, I'm all about making the day reflective of you. And if you love Walmart that much and that's where you want to go to get married, babes, go for it. You do you. I do want to point out how American this comment is, though. No parents helping pay for anything. In Australia, like 90% of couples pay for their own wedding. Parents might chip in, but they definitely don't pay for the whole thing. I'm a photographer. Kid was running around, crashed into me, dropped my camera, breaking my lens. Couple refused to pay for it. Oh, yeah. See, put that in your contract. That's a learning experience. Any damaged goods, product. Again, no children at weddings. Bride had always dreamed of driving herself to the church. Cannot think of anything worse. I would not be sober enough to do that. In an open-topped convertible sports car. We all know where this is going, don't we? The wind blew her veil over her face. Oh, okay, I did not know where this was going. To the point that she couldn't see and she crashed the car. She didn't wear a seatbelt because she was worried about creasing the dress. And so she face planted the steering wheel, broke her nose, blood and snot all over the expensive vintage family wedding dress. We were waiting at the church with no clue what was happening because she was alone in the car. The ceremony was cancelled because there was another wedding booked later and she didn't make it on time. The venue banned food, etc. was non-refundable, so wasted. The bride had no insurance and the car cost thousands on top of the wasted venues. Once she recovered, she wanted it all again, exactly the same. Oh my God. Okay, there's so much wrong with this. So first of all, always safety first. I'm sorry, but why are you worried about a seatbelt crushing the dress, but you're not worried about your veil and hair in the wind? That makes no logical sense to me. I don't understand how, why. Like, second of all, as if you drive yourself. Third of all, as if you'd get a car with no insurance. Like, none of this makes any sense. Was she, I mean this in the nicest possible way, but was she on drugs? Like, was she, even like Valium to calm her down, an Ambien? Maybe she just wasn't making clear judgment. I'm not sure. But literally none of that story. And then why would you want to do it all again? That makes no sense. Insane. Oh my God. Okay. Whew. Childhood friend had an outdoor wedding at a popular historic building community / reception center. Reception got moved inside. Everything is antique, super beautiful, but super old. The wild part was at the end. Parents of the bride would not let, in like the bunny ears, let the bride and groom leave for their wedding night honeymoon until all the tables and chairs were put away. Family members and friends of both the bride and groom, including myself, hastily got conscripted to help out. Night ended at like 10 or 11 p.m. with bride leaving crying and shaking in anger while the husband desperately tried to calm her down. All of us still there threw rice over them in the dark as they left for their ride to the honeymoon suite. Bride's parents had no chill. This is a Gen Zer, no chill, and still thought they were in the right. Bride and groom held hostage at their own wedding by their parents. I think it's wild that this blew up considering some of the other posts on here. Oh, sorry, that's like an edit. I don't really think that one's that wild. I do think that's just controlling parents. I was a photographer and my best friend at the time did not want to have me taking photos because I was the best man. Additionally, I mean, that's fair. You want them to be in the wedding party. You don't want them to be working. Additionally, his soon-to-be wife absolutely loathed me, though she loathed everyone, including him. Oh, well, okay. That's a sad start to the wedding. She instead hired her best friend and gave her something like $1,000 to take photos. This was a lot, as it was in the 90s. The friend shows up. Mind you, she had zero experience taking photos, and she had purchased several disposable cameras. For you young folks, I'm reading this word for word, by the way. For you young folks, most of those cameras had like 800 speed film, which usually meant they were okay for mostly lifeless outdoor photos. Literally everything else would be super grainy and or dark as shit. I tell them I hope they have a better plan, but the wife goes to bat for her friend while yelling at me. Okay, good luck with all that. 2 weeks later, of course, they come to me asking if there's any way to fix the photos. She just got back from the Walmart photo lab. The wife is in tears. Of course, there is nothing to be done. I will never forget the wedding taking place and her friend cranking that camera dial nonstop every few seconds. So for anyone who actually is too young, although disposable cameras have become a really big thing, so I don't actually think I need to explain it because everyone's into the nostalgia thing at the moment. But you have to wind the camera and imagine that in the middle of a ceremony where you're trying to be quiet for the bride to be walking down the aisle and you're like, click, click. Fuck, I'd lose my shit. The groom's stepdad got drunk and called his mum a bitch, so the groom punched his stepdad in the mouth. I was part of the catering crew and one of our guys helped break it up. Even more awkward, I lived in an apartment next door to the groom. I mean, family fights, especially when there's divorced parents involved, that's probably the biggest thing we get. We don't get actual fights, but we get like a, hey, Amy, I really need you. My mum and dad are on separate tables and they don't like talking to each other. So if anything like kind of happens, I need you to like keep them away from each other. Or they can't, just so you know, we've made our family photo list and they can't be in the same photo. So when you're calling the family photo combinations, just so you know, this is mum, this is dad and blah, blah, blah. That's probably the biggest thing we get, to be honest. We don't get too much crazy stuff like this. We definitely don't get someone dumb enough to crash a car. I would also never let a bride drive herself. So, you know. What else have we got here? Oh, okay, I've just read one line. It's right in the middle, so I don't know how this one's going to pan out. Groom's family was a bunch of incredibly good and friendly people. That's nice. You want to marry into a good family? They're also a bunch of loud, rowdy party people. Okay. Groom's dad goes up to give a speech. He holds the microphone up in the air and says, "You see this? This is a microphone." Well done, Dad. He turns and chucks it out into a nearby field. This was a beautiful mountainside outdoor venue. He, being a very loud individual, goes, "Who needs that shit?" He goes on to tell a story about how he met the bride and thought, oh no, my kids are going to eat her alive. This sweet, innocent young woman is going to hang out with my kids. My kids are fucking animals. Then one day, his 3 adult kids came back from a night out on the town with the bride. He describes how they all stumble into the house, drunk as fish, falling over and incoherent. He describes how the bride doesn't even make it to the couch, falls over on the living room floor. The dog comes up and starts licking her face, and she manages to slur, "Don't you fucking judge me, don't you fucking judge me," to the dog. He goes, "In that moment, I knew. She was perfect for my son. I said to myself, this girl is a fucking animal. Welcome to the family." The bride was sheepish but clapping. The groom could not have looked more proud. The crowd went nuts, cheering for them. The bride's family, well, there was some unhappy tears. That's not wild. That's like, kudos to Dad. That's actually like a good story. And also, man, if you did that as the bride, that's your fault. Like, you don't give anyone ammo. I don't get the microphone thing, though. Why would you throw the microphone away? Microwave? Why would you throw the microphone away? The bride forgot the groom's name and called him by her ex-boyfriend's name. That's pretty funny. I do know, I was talking to one of my celebrant friends the other day, and she mentioned that she did a wedding, and the witnesses were so drunk they signed their own name wrong. So that was pretty crazy. We were meant to be there, but long story. But that was a bit wild. What else? Okay, I feel like this is a little bit sad now. Let's maybe go to something. Wedding horror stories. Let's try this one. Okay. Years ago, I dated a guy whose brother was getting married in a different state. All of the bride's friends dropped out of the wedding party, so myself and another brother's girlfriend were asked to be her bridesmaids. Her engagement ring broke in half a few months before, turned out to be a manufacturer error, but that should have been an omen for everything. When they rehearsed, the ceremony is when the groom's mum found out that they would both hyphenate and he would add her last name. They are very traditional Christian family, so that set her off and she stormed out of the room screaming. Before this, I had seen her raise her voice in years. I had never seen her raise her voice in years. I knew her, so it was beyond shocking. They had their wedding on Sunday, but in the afternoon, we still all went to church service. It was her family's church, and all of us in town are supposed to follow her. She got in the car with the groom and sped off, so it was impossible to know where she went, ignored all our phone calls, and tried to deny doing it on purpose once we got there. Like, bitch, what? The wedding itself was very uneventful, nothing real memorable, probably due to it being no alcohol. But I do remember she had us do tons of pictures outside. It was late October in the northern US, and our dresses were knee length with high heels, and mine kept getting stuck in the leafy, muddy ground. Completely unrelated to the actual wedding, but we drove there. Oh, if it's unrelated, then why the fuck are you mentioning it? Their marriage was actually annulled. Turns out she was sleeping with her manager. I mean, affairs aren't that crazy, right? Oh, a few stories on here about COVID. We had to cancel our wedding because of COVID. I mean, I feel really sorry for anyone who had a full wedding planned and then had to cancel it. Like, I actually really feel for you, hey? Oh my God. My father-in-law died at the end of our wedding. That's all it says. I actually do know, again, not us, but a stylist friend of mine, they rocked up to pack up all the flowers, and the ambulance was there, and the same thing happened. It was the bride's dad, I think. I don't know. And he had a heart attack at the end of the wedding. And that's my worst nightmare. I actually cannot think of anything worse. The catering hall refused to hold the reception until they got their money in cash. Oh, that's a scam. That's a front for sure. That's a money laundering front. Mother of the groom proceeds to tell her all about how her dad is looking down from heaven and he would be so proud of her, and it's such a shame that he missed this day. Bride starts bawling her eyes out. Mom, come on, man. My daughter's teacher, okay, first of all, who invites your teacher to your wedding? Broke her ankle. Oh, it was her wedding. Okay, got it. My daughter's teacher broke her ankle during her first dance and missed the rest of the reception due to being in the emergency room. Oh, imagine missing your own wedding. Oh, nah, fuck that. I would just put up with it and then I would go to the emergency room. I guess if you broke your ankle and your bone's sticking out, I'd be like, fucking invite the paramedics in, join the party, give me one of the woo-woo sticks, let me go. Not one of the groomsmen elected to wear anything under their kilts. Every shot taken with children revealed hairy dangling nutsacks. I mean, that's kind of funny. I mean, it's not, but it's because it's not my wedding photos, but it's kind of funny. But also, your photographer should have seen that. Like, that's fucking dog that the photographer didn't come and say something and be like, hey guys, maybe we just want to pose on a different angle because I can see your balls. Later, the groom's family found out that the girl was forced into agreeing to marry him. That sounds like a rich person problem. Sounds like they paid her or something. I pretended to be a wedding photographer once because I thought it would be fun. I'm not actually a photographer. Bro. Oh my God, you're going to hell. Like, that's honestly one of I can't even stand underqualified vendors, let alone someone who has fully just potentially scammed someone. Oh, this one looks good. A friend had a guest get really drunk, wander off into a neighboring ballroom, and began urinating. I actually can't. We rented, okay, this is a long one, but it looks like it might be worth it. We rented our venue, which was a cabin in the middle of the woods for a weekend. Oh, you're going to get slaughtered. That's cabin in the middle of the woods. Never good. Come on. Friday evening to Monday morning. Our contact started, sorry, let me try that again. Our contract, this is my first glass, would you believe it or not? Jesus. Our contract stated that we had exclusive use of the property for this time. Fair enough. Standard. Friday evening, we get there and start setting up everything for the rehearsal dinner on Saturday. Saturday morning before the rehearsal, we start setting up for the ceremony, which was going to be Sunday evening. The ceremony was going to be outdoors in a beautiful forest area with a gazebo that we draped with cloth. There was a huge chandelier with old Edison bulbs. We did up the aisle with flowers and everything. Gorgeous. All of a sudden, Saturday afternoon, just before the rehearsal was set to start, all these limos start pulling up, followed by passenger cars. Come to find out, after checking my phone, I got a text from the venue manager an hour prior saying they have a couple of kids coming to take prom photos on the property for an hour. Hope that's okay. Immediately texted back that it was not okay and I had exclusive use of the property for the weekend according to our contract. She left me on red. Well, it ended up being 10 couples, so 20 kids in total, multiple photographers, the kids' parents, grandparents, and other siblings. All in all, I counted 21 cars and 48 people. They were taking photos off 48 people. That's a whole wedding in itself. They were taking photos off to the side and then slowly started creeping closer to the decorations. They eventually ended up on the altar taking photos, and I went full bridezilla and told them to get away from the decorations we worked so hard on. The parents gave me attitude and said, let the kids take their pictures. Fucking no. I actually agree with this. Like, sorry, but fuck off. No answer to my repeated calls to the venue manager. Cars blocked my guests from getting to the rehearsal dinner, and they had to park all the way at the end of a very long driveway. As soon as I told the manager I was going to call the police for trespassing and citing my contract, everyone started to leave. Apparently, the venue manager was friends with one of the parents and called them and told them to leave. The wedding came and went, in which a whole slew of other things went wrong, and I posted scathing reviews everywhere possible with photo proof. Their attorney sent me a cease and desist to remove all the reviews. I did not, but I contacted them and told them to shove it or I would take them to court for a breach of contract. Never heard a peep from any of them again. No refund, not even partial. No apology, no acknowledgement, literally nothing. If anyone is curious, the venue is... Okay, amazing. Again, it is in America because it has the state listed there as well. So, yeah, I got to agree with her. Like, she is so right for being brides. Like, she said bridezilla, but I don't think she's being bridezilla in the slightest. This is 100% the venue's fault, and I have actually had issues with venues not having contracts, not having appropriate contracts, thinking that their terms and conditions stand up as contracts. That is a completely different thing. So, yeah, the kicker, though, is their attorney sent me a cease and desist to remove the reviews. Classic. Yeah, no, wild. It is actually wild what some people think is acceptable and what, like, they're entitled to in this world. I actually cannot, just because, like, oh, they're friends, that's fine. Like, if you're running a business, particularly a venue, you have a standard to upkeep. I actually can't. I think that's a good one to finish on. That's the tea from Reddit for today on Wine and Wed Talk.